Wars is part of the Rippin Podcast Network. On this episode of Cardboard Wars, explore the captivating journey of women's basketball from its 19th century roots to its modern-day evolution in the WNBA. Your hosts, Ben Rippin and Kevin Rips, dive into the history of women's basketball while celebrating the WNBA stars of today. Discover how trading cards from brands like Pinnacle, Fleer, and Panini have captured this journey, transforming it into a sought-after collecting phenomenon. Embrace the legacy, growth, and impact of women's basketball both on and off the court. So sit back and enjoy this episode of Cardboard Wars.
It's 1892, somewhere in the middle of Massachusetts. Just 1 year after James Naismith invents basketball, a woman named Senda Barrison introduces the game to her female students at Smith College.
And she has to rewrite the rules. No dribbling more than 3 times. No stealing the ball. And you can't cross into another section of the court. That's too unladylike, they said.
Still, her version, it spreads like wildfire. In 1896, Stanford and Berkeley play the first intercollegiate women's basketball game. Stanford wins 2-1 in long skirts, corsets, and a women-only crowd.
I gotta be honest, Ben, 2 points to 1. Corsets, I'm not sure. My mind is just going crazy. It's not exactly Showtime basketball, but in the context of history, it was revolutionary.
I don't know how good of a player you are, Kev, but it's a good representation of what would happen if I was on the court. This is WNBA. This is from modest beginnings. Women's basketball starts its century-long rise from gymnasiums to the global arenas that you see today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cardboard Wars. I go by Ben Ripping online, like on Insta, and I'm joined with my partner, Kevin, who could be found at
Kevin Rips.
Do us a favor, track us down, give us a follow, and send us a message. If you're enjoying this podcast, today we dive into the history, like we always do, of the sport, the players, and the manufacturers of the cards that help make the hobby our hobby. Today's podcast is about my personal passion. A self-proclaimed one of the biggest collectors of WNBA cards in the world. Myself, my own trophy, Kevin, here. But let's get back to the facts. In the early 1900s, basketball becomes one of the few competitive sports open to women. It spreads quickly through colleges, through factories, through YMCAs.
Yeah, by the 1930s, you've got company teams and barnstorming squads. The most famous of them all, the American Redheads, touring the country, playing hundreds of games a year with Globetrotter-style flair.
The American Redheads, you can hear my heart beating. They prove that women can not only play, but it's entertaining. It's competitive. And in the 1950s, the Wayland Baptist Flying Queens out of Texas take things even further. They win 131 straight games, Kevin, the longest streak still in basketball history.
They even chartered planes. That was before most men's teams did. The Queens were basically doing NIL deals before the NIL existed.
These early pioneers built a foundation of legitimacy, but recognition was still far away. That would actually take a law and a movement. In 1972, Congress passes Title IX, a 37-word law that transforms women's sports forever. It bans sex discrimination in all federally funded schools.
That means equal access to facilities, scholarships, and coaching. Colleges, all of a sudden, they start recruiting women athletes seriously.
And just 4 years later, women's basketball debuts at the 1976 Montreal Olympics. The U.S. wins silver, led by names like Pat Summitt and Nancy Dunkel.
First time that women's basketball was placed in the Olympics.
Set number 7, Lucia Paris.
It was just unreal. We played Japan, the very first game. They shot the first basket, but they missed. Came back down the court. Ann Myers passed me the ball. I shot it and made it.
That was the first basket in the history of Olympic women's basketball.
And Ann Myers said, "That's history." I said, "Oh yeah? Maybe that is history." Now that's a record that'll never be broken.
It's a shame that Nancy wasn't the first woman to ever dunk in a game, by the way. Like with that, I mean, it would have been fitting. And we know about Pat Summitt, man. Even a guy like me who grew up watching SportsCenter, basically that was my news. I saw highlights of Pat Summitt's teams at Tennessee. You know what they won like 8 national titles. Like Pat Summitt in Tennessee turned women's basketball into literal must-see college athletics.
Yeah, hats off to Pat for laying that foundation. By the 1980s, college programs like Louisiana Tech, USC, Old Dominion, they start producing stars that we all know today, like Cheryl Miller, Ann Myers Drysdale, and Nancy Lieberman.
One of my favorite stories, I'm a big basketball fan, especially we start talking about 90s and early 2000s. So Reggie Miller, I always loved to watch that guy play, and that's Cheryl's brother. People would always ask Reggie, and Reggie's an all-time great Hall of Famer, would ask him what it's like to be the second best basketball player in his family, because Cheryl was truly that good. So 1982 marks the first official NCAA women's tournament. It's televised and it's nationally recognized. That's when women's basketball truly enters the American sports conversation.
4 seconds. That'll do it. The Lady Texters have won it. And are they happy? First ever NCAA women national champions. The Lady Texters from Louisiana Tech.
With college booming, the next step is going to be the professional play of basketball. And in 1978, a really great year, isn't it, Kevin?
It's the best of years, Ben.
The best of years. That's when legends were made. The Women's Professional Basketball League, or the WBL, launches with 10 individual teams from major cities.
Yeah, and it's really scrappy, small gyms, tiny budgets, players earning around $5,000 a season. But it's historic. For the first time, women are getting paid to play basketball in America.
Nancy Lieberman becomes the face of the league. She signs a $50,000 contract, the WBL's largest ever.
But like what happens with small leagues so often, the league collapses after just 3 seasons. Travel chaos. There was reports of unpaid salaries, low attendance sink in. But it wasn't all bad, because it proved that if done right, there's actually a market for this.
The next attempt at making that market, Kevin, came in 1996 with the American Basketball League, the ABL. They had higher salaries. They had Olympic players playing, strong talent, but still no national TV deal.
Yeah, they fold within 2 years. Their timing's unbelievably ironic, because the NBA is about to jump in.
The birth of the WNBA as we know it is coming soon. The summer of 1996 changes everything. The U.S. women's national team dominates the Atlanta Olympics.
They're on their feet. The capacity crowd here at the Georgia Dome. Final seconds. There's the buzzer. It's official. The United States has the best women's basketball team in the world. The Americans take the gold here in Atlanta in dominant fashion. Tara Vanderveer leads the USA to victory. After the disappointment of Barcelona in 94, Lisa Leslie and the United States women reclaim the gold in 96.
They go undefeated. That team featuring Lisa Leslie, Dawn Staley, and Cheryl Swoops captures America's attention. NBA Commissioner David Stern sees an opportunity.
Yeah, he did. And so 1997, WNBA launches with 8 teams. Team in New York, major markets, New York, LA, Houston, Phoenix, Sacramento. Okay, maybe not so major there. Utah, Cleveland, and Charlotte. And the league slogan says it all. We got next.
The Houston Comets, led by Cynthia Cooper, Swoops, and Tina Thompson, win the first 4 championships. Cooper becomes the league's first MVP twice.
Yeah, talk about momentum. Attendance tops over 9,000 a game. The very first game with the Liberty versus Los Angeles Sparks airs on NBC to nearly 1 million viewers.
Nike notices because they released the Air Swoops, the first signature shoe for a female basketball player.
In 2002, I was kind of leading up to this. Lisa Leslie dunked in a game. That's the first time in WNBA history. That moment truly said, we've arrived.
Lennox got an open look. Missed the shot from three-point range straight away. Byers gets it up to Leslie. What's she going to do? She dunked it! For the first time in WNBA history, someone has dunked in a game. It's Lisa Leslie with the dunk. Nobody, nowhere, no how has ever done it in the WNBA.
The early 2000s bring challenges. Teams fold or they're forced to relocate. Salaries are still staying low, but the quality of play starts to skyrocket.
Yeah, we start seeing these stars like Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Tamika Catchings, Candace Parker. These super talented women start to redefine the league.
Diana Taurasi becomes the all-time leading scorer. Parker wins MVP as a rookie. And Sue Bird, close to my heart, one of the owners of now the Seattle Storm teams, the ultimate floor general, they say, becomes synonymous with leadership and longevity inside the game.
Absolutely. And then the 2010s bring social media power, right? Players now have a direct voice. The WNBA becomes a platform for activism, equality, and change.
When Maya Moore pauses her career to fight a wrongful incarceration and wins, she shows the WNBA's influence goes beyond the court.
Yeah, and sponsors start to notice. I mean, Nike, Google, AT&T, ESPN, all these major partners start to commit to the WNBA long term.
By 2023, the WNBA's viewership climbs 60%. The Las Vegas Aces sell out arenas. The New York Liberty are building truly a super team, and we're seeing expansion teams pop into places like Portland, Toronto, San Francisco. It's growing and growing from little old Smith College to now billion-dollar sponsorships. Women's basketball has traveled more than 130 years.
And the names leading the future, like Asia Wilson, Breonna Stewart, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers, they prove that the next generation is already here.
Every layup today echoes the courage of the players, the women who competed in corsets and played for nothing but pride. And now for a father like you, Kevin, who has a little girl.
Yeah, now little girls don't just dream of the WNBA or playing professional sports. They can actually plan for it.
I knew that there was going to be something big in the WNBA when I started seeing little boys and little girls wearing jerseys for the Seattle Storm and for the Aces and for all of these incredible teams across the United States. There's this movement happening. This movement starts to hit trading cards. With the WNBA and women's basketball being around for more than a century, the trading card world didn't really notice. There was a couple women that showed up on different trading cards in the early 1900s, but not really in basketball. It really kind of barely existed.
Yep. No cardboard queens, just decades of highlight reels with this. And this is so sad. No packs to rip. I can't imagine watching sports and not having a pack to rip to look at those athletes.
That all changed in the 90s when a couple of brave companies came out with the first sports cards for women's basketball. The actual first one was like a 6 or 7 card set that was based just on the Olympics. But when you're looking for sets about the WNBA, they were first manufactured by Pinnacle and Fleer and Rittenhouse and eventually Panini. We're going to tell a little bit of that story now about how women's basketball kind of started to get its own collectible spotlight in the hobby.
That's right. What started as a niche experiment in soda cans with basketball players turned into an emerging billion-dollar hobby segment.
The story of women's basketball trading cards, the innovators, the bankruptcies, the breakthroughs, and these kind of legends that are now portrayed on cardboard, this is the story that we're going to tell. Pinnacle Brands kind of took the first shot. It's 1997. The WNBA is just launched. The Houston Comets are dominating, and the basketball world is kind of starting to pay attention. Enter, as I mentioned, Pinnacle Brands, a Texas-based card company known for kind of bold ideas and flashy packaging.
Yeah, we talked about Pinnacle/Score on a previous episode and how towards the end of their run, it was all Pinnacle. That was their brand. They like to go way outside the box, literally. Like they package WNBA cards inside of metal soda cans.
They called it Pinnacle Inside. You had to open the can to get to the cards. Every 1997 collector remembers the hiss of aluminum before the rustle of plastic.
It's so weird. It's genius, or it might be genius, and the checklist is stacked. Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Rebecca Lobo, Cynthia Cooper, every foundational WNBA star.
Pinnacle made the first official licensed women's basketball cards. 81 base cards, plus inserts like Crashing the Boards and Team Players.
But as I referenced a second ago, the company didn't survive long. By 98, Pinnacle had gone bankrupt.
Which means for us collectors, us individuals in the hobby, those early WNBA sets, they're ultra limited. They're super hard to find. They had short print runs and only 2 years of production, layered with tons of history and nostalgia for us.
Yeah, so if you're a collector, the 97 Pinnacle inside set isn't just vintage. Like that doesn't even begin to describe it. It's ground zero. It's the first official rookie class, if you will, for women's basketball.
And I have some Pinnacle cards, but I do not have a sealed can with cards inside. So if you're listening and you do, and you're willing to make a trade, let me know. I'm highly, highly motivated.
I was going to say, Ben, earlier you mentioned you're probably one of the biggest fans. I'm going to say the biggest, like, especially when it comes to cardboard and the WNBA. I challenge anybody to show your face. Come out and challenge Ben Rippin on your fandom of the WNBA and WNBA cardboard. I challenge you to a public duel.
After Pinnacle's collapse, Kev, the WNBA license goes to Fleer / Skybox, one of the biggest names in card history, which we've talked about a lot. In fact, In fact, on episode number 1, when we talked about the 1986 Fleer product, which debuted the Michael Jordan rookie card.
Absolutely. And this is, no surprise, women's cards start to look a little premium. Fleer brings like textured foils, die cuts, which they've been known for, autograph inserts, kind of all the bells and whistles that a card company can bring.
From 1999 to 2004, Fleer releases a run of sets that define the early 2000s era for women's basketball. Fleer Ultra, Skybox Dominion, Fleer Authentics, and Hoops WNBA.
Yeah, and let's talk rookies. This stretch includes the debuts of, you mentioned her earlier, Sue Bird, Tamika Catchings, Lauren Jackson, and of course the legend who we mentioned earlier, Diana Taurasi.
I'm sitting on a couple of rookie cards from each one of those people who I kind of consider to myself the equivalent of the LeBrons and Kobe's and Michael Jordans for us WNBA collectors.
Yeah, and Fleer, in true Fleer fashion, nailed the photography, action shots, game-worn jersey swatches, even, this is cool, ticket stub inserts into the Fleer Authentics. And I'd like to point out that in true Fleer fashion, Authentics ends in the letter X, not CS. Like, that's pretty Fleer right there, if you ask me.
Like the story of almost all card manufacturers, unfortunately. And we've told the story over many, many episodes about every single one of these companies. By 2005, Fleer is in financial trouble. The company folds, and the WNBA sports card market, it goes dark again.
Yeah, collectors call it the lost years. It was a gap when women's basketball, they had fans, but there was no new cardboard, which just sounds so weird.
Then in 2008, in my opinion, some of the coolest WNBA cards ever made started getting released. Rittenhouse Archives, a small company best known, Kevin, for cards made about Star Trek and James Bond. They pick up the WNBA license.
Yeah, wait, the sci-fi card company, like that's the Rittenhouse. I'll tell you what, Ben, I was on their website today. I was doing some research for our episode, and I was like, they don't even sort of look like they might have made a card about an athlete ever. Like, it was such a weird match, but they were the ones.
Exactly, Kev. They specialize in boutique print runs, high quality, low volume, but they bring this really nice precision to WNBA cards.
Yeah, so we have from 2008 all the way up through 2018, you got Rittenhouse quietly releasing WNBA sets that become kind of cult favorites in the cardboard world. Clean designs, on-card autographs, short runs. I mean, sometimes some of the runs were just like a few thousand boxes total.
And these players, Brittany Griner, Elena Del Don, Maya Moore, Candace Parker, these cards in PSA 10s with autos can reach in the tens of thousands of dollars. I know I own some of the most valuable cards from this kind of Rittenhouse era.
Yeah, if you've got a Rittenhouse rookie of one of those kind of legendary players, like you're truly holding a grail card.
Because production was so limited, these cards rarely hit eBay. You don't see them on the auctions. They get traded privately, or they're listed by some of the legends of the sport card hobby that you see them at card shows. They specialize specifically in WNBA cards.
Yeah, I would like to, I think a good way to put this is think of it as like the Topps Chrome refractor era, but like with an underground vibe to it.
I just want to kind of call out for a second as you go to some of these shows or you're opening cards online, look for Anne Marie, who has the Instagram account Women on Topps. An amazing human. I've done trades and done deals with her. Look for Val. I think she goes by Valcano, something like that online. an amazing human. She's hit some of the coolest cards out there, including the Caitlin Clark Black Finite 1 of 1. Her Instagram is It's Val, VALPO. Super, super cool humans. And then one of my favorite card shops in the entire United States, Black Jaded Wolf. These two ladies just run an amazing card shop. They're at all the shows. They're experts. And I've done a couple trades of some of my most favorite and valuable WNBA cards. I think it's important on these podcasts and in these hobbies that we call out the people that are leading this charge. But Rittenhouse, they eventually lose their license in 2018. The hobby for WNBA collectors pauses again, but there's kind of a new wave about to get launched, and it's about to really go mainstream. In 2019, the WNBA signs a deal with Panini America, kind of the powerhouse behind Prizm, Select, Donruss, National Treasures, Flawless. The list goes on.
Yeah, this is the same company that turned NBA cards into truly a global investment market. So when they added the WNBA, man, it was game on.
Yeah, Panini launches in 2019 with Donruss Optic WNBA. And then the next year in 2020, they launched the very first Prizm WNBA product, which is awesome. It's high-end, good quality, good photography, great cards, fun to rip, still affordable to buy boxes today.
Yeah, 2020 Prizm is basically the 86 Fleer of women's basketball, loaded. Sabrina Ionescu's rookie, Asia Wilson, Breonna Stewart. You got Sue Bird parallels in there, and those gold Prizms are fire.
Panini brings modern collectors low-numbered parallels, which we love, autographs, patch cards, rookie patch autos, RPAs, and rainbow chases for those of us that want to get each card in each one of the colors or each one of the numbered parallels.
Yeah. And when you've got players like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers entering the league these days, the hype actually hits mainstream investors. It's no longer just fans and it's no longer just collectors, but you've literally got mainstream investors paying attention now.
Panini's marketing and distribution give WNBA cards something they never had before, truly global reach. And it's not just men and nerds like Kevin and I buying them. It's women collectors, it's former players, it's young fans, both boys and girls. They're opening packs, they're grading rookies, they're collecting their favorite players, they're bringing the cards to the game, Kevin. They're getting the players to sign them. The energy is crazy.
Yeah, it is. Panini turned WNBA collecting into a growth market. And for the first time, women's basketball cards truly sit beside the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball cards at major shows and auctions. Like they're on the same page now.
And, from soda cans to where it started to Prizm parallels, women's basketball trading cards have evolved to be truly a piece of the hobby itself. Collectors now chase the rookies of these talented women who are filling arenas, both in basketball and like Caitlin, even now on the golf course. They're headlining commercials. They're launching products with some of the biggest brands out there. This kind of tells a story of progress of athletes have earned the spotlight and collectors are noticed. And I don't want to take the spotlight off of the Sue Birds and the Diana Taurasis and all of these other incredible players, Kevin, because they've all brought something phenomenal to the game. But I do want to talk today about my number one PC. I collect Caitlin Clark like few people out there.
Like I've already laid down the challenge to anybody who's out there. And if there's a guy whose name is Dave and might have a lot of money and really big on socials that is actually a challenger and as big of a fan. I'd like to see him come forward, or anybody else. But I want to also add on something you said, because you gave a little bit of like, here's an asterisk before we talk about Caitlin. I think it's okay. It's okay that Caitlin gets the love and the attention that she deserves. If we go back not that long ago, if you go back to the 80s, Michael Jordan's the guy. Everybody knows it. Nobody disputes that. But before him, there was Dr. J and Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and so many other great players that they truly lifted it to, like, they got it off the ground, because the NBA was dying, by the way. They got it off the ground and it became popular. And then Jordan came along comes this guy and he's like, I got it, guys. And he just takes us into like worldwide stardom. And I think that's the story that we're seeing unfold with Caitlin right now, doing the same thing. Yes, there's other legends. There's so many people that have set the sport up. And now we've got maybe the next version of Michael Jordan, but for the WNBA. And I think we got to celebrate that, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that laid the foundation before Caitlin, stepped foot on the court. And I need to ask her someday, who was her inspiration in women's basketball that she looked up to the most. I would love to know that answer, Caitlin, if you end up listening to this. And there'll be stars past her that beat her and surpass her records, just like in every sport. And maybe it's somebody we know, like Paige Beckers or Cameron Brink or Angel Reese or Juju, or somebody we've never heard of playing right now in elementary school or middle school. But let's go back in history. Caitlin Clark was born January 22nd, 2002 in Des Moines, Iowa. She started playing organized basketball by age 5 against boys, Kevin.
Yeah, talk about fearless, just competitive to the point of obsession. I've heard that by middle school, she's dropping 30 points a game, and she's studying, and why not, by the way, Steph Curry.
At Dowling Catholic High School, listen to this, Kevin. She averages 32.6 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists as a senior, ranked as the number 4 player nationally.
That's insane. But instead of heading to a powerhouse like a UConn or a Stanford, she stayed home, man. She chose the University of Iowa. And that choice, I think it's going to go down in history. It changed the map of women's college basketball.
From day one, the way she plays, it's truly electric. She's pulling up from 30 feet, waving off screens, trash talking like an NBA vet.
Yeah, her freshman year, 26.6 points a game, leads the nation. And she's not just scoring, she's redefining what's possible in the women's basketball game.
By 2022, Caitlin Clark is a walking highlight reel. Every Iowa game becomes somewhat of a national event.
Clark in transition. Yes!
She's Diana Taurasi. She's Steph Curry. She's insert great shooter.
6 rebounds, 5 assists. She leads in points, rebounds, and assists. Clark from the logo and knocks it down. Ball kept alive. Another feed inside, and Stelke finishes. Clark's 8th assist, and the Big Ten all-time assist record is hers and hers alone. Caitlin Clark behind the back on the spin to the hole and 1.
2 to shoot for Clark. She'll need the heroics here, and doesn't. And it gets away from Clark. Look at Jess Shelley knows. I know she's going to shoot out there. And she still creates the space.
Yeah, she's got that Steph Curry range, that Larry Bird court vision. She's got that Kobe swagger, all wrapped up into one Iowa jersey.
She leads the NCAA in points and assists in the same season, something no one, male or female, had ever done.
Yeah, she's got battles with Angel Reese and Paige Beckers and Juju Watkins. Like they just become must-see matchups, and you start to see ticket prices skyrocket, and ESPN viewership starts to hit all-time highs.
By the 2023 season, she becomes the all-time leading scorer in the NCAA Division I in history, passing both Kelsey Plum and Pistol Pete Maravich with 3,951 points.
I'd like to just point out Pistol Pete and I are birthday twins, different years though. At any rate, those numbers, like it's not just a record; it's a revolution that she started.
She's her charisma turns arenas into stages. Fans wear the day she was born and also her jersey number 22, in every city. Children mimic her logo shots in driveways.
Yeah, it's not just basketball fans anymore. It's everyone. I mean, she's trending on Wall Street, TikTok, X, eBay. Like she is everywhere.
And before she ever plays in her first WNBA game, she becomes one of the most profitable athletes in college history.
Yeah, her NIL deals read like an all-star corporate roster. You're talking about Nike, State Farm, Gatorade, Buick, Topps.
She reportedly earned over $3 million annually while a student in sponsorships. And she does this, without arrogance. She's approachable. She's smiling. She stops to sign autographs. She gives credit to her teammates. She's also one of the first players out there before a game, Kevin, out there throwing the ball and practicing and shooting. Just phenomenal to watch.
Yeah, and when her Topps Bowman U trading card releases in 2023, it sells out in hours. PSA graded parallels jump from, listen to this, Ben, $20 to $1,000+ within weeks. Collectors call it the Caitlin effect. She turned women's basketball cards from a niche into a complete frenzy.
Her final college game, the 2024 National Championship, draws 18.9 million viewers, the highest ever for a basketball game outside of the NBA.
Yeah, more people watched Caitlin Clark than watched the NBA Finals last year. Like, let that sink in. There was, and I just saw this because I saw the numbers of the NBA Finals compared to the World Series. It was only like 17 million viewers of the NBA Finals last year. But Caitlin in her final college game, national championship game, almost 19 million viewers. That's big.
Now it's April 15th, 2024, not that long ago. It's WNBA draft night.
With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
Well, Caitlin Clark hugging her family, her brothers, Blake and Colin, her father Brent, her mother Ann, and heading to the podium. She is officially a member of the Indiana Fever after as decorated a collegiate career as we have ever seen. Caitlin Clark, now a professional.
And I'm going to start by saying, just because...
Yeah, just like that, the Fever go from basement to blockbuster.
Ticket sales triple. Jersey sales break records before she even steps on the court. Season openers sell out nationwide.
Yeah, even the away games. I mean, teams start to move games to like a bigger arena when she comes to town because she's got that kind of effect.
Her rookie debut game breaks every viewing record in the WNBA with 2.1 million viewers, double, 2 times, Kevin, the previous high.
And that first Panini instant card, buddy, sells out in like 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes.
By mid-season, the WNBA attendance is up over 46% year over year.
Yeah, Caitlin doesn't just play in the WNBA, she changes the WNBA.
And she's transcending sports. She's on magazine covers, late night shows, TikTok highlight hoops reels, and she's being viewed hundreds of millions of time.
It's crazy. to think that as popular as she is, as many places as we see her, her biggest ripple might be actually in the collecting culture, in the hobby.
The 2024 Panini Prizm boxes, which we were used to paying $200 for, started off fetching $800. Now that same exact box, Kevin, you'd be lucky if you could buy it for $1,800 to $2,000 because you're chasing some of her elusive numbered rookies or autographed rookie cards.
It's crazy. You got graded gold Prizm autos that are hitting 5 figures. And it's the first time in history that a WNBA rookie card cracks the same price tier as NBA rookies in the same year.
Yeah, you start seeing her big cards, one of ones, hitting golden. Investors investing, collectors collecting. She's getting 6 figures. And this year, she surpassed the highest selling female sports card of all time. Not in my collection. So if it's dollar volume, somebody else has it, but I probably have the rest of them outside of that. Now everybody's hunting her rookies. Everybody. And she's bringing all these new collectors into the hobby. Young women, college fans, parents, first-time buyers. I'm donating WNBA cards now to schools to get the message out and let people see all the legacy that she's creating. And she's doing things like starting her own foundation and giving back and volunteering, just being an awesome human. And there's always good players that are crappy humans, and then there's good humans that are great players. And I just love watching good humans do great things, Kevin.
Yeah, it's the best, man. I love to see a story like this. You can see she's not really just chasing fame. She's working hard to be great at what she does professionally, and also to have a great impact on the world as a person and as a human being. I love that combination in a person.
July 24th, another good day in history. Her highest selling card sells at auction for $660,000 with buyer premium. It's a 2024 Panini Flawless WNBA logo woman card inscribed. Not too far after that, her second card sells a National Treasures logo woman for $504,000. Previously, a Panini Prizm WNBA gold vinyl, one of one, sold for $366,000. And her WNBA green Kaboom, one of one, for $341,000. And a card that I personally hit in a break with some of my friends, Yosef actually, fetches $317,200. The Panini Black Finite card that we mentioned that was hit by Val, $274,000 at auction. And you're seeing base silver cards sell for $2,000, $3,000. Probably the best ROI from packs we've seen is opening WNBA boxes. For the price to the reward, it's massive. Let's kind of wrap today up our history of the WNBA and history of Caitlin Clark and the history of women's basketball by just getting some quotes about the GOAT, Caitlin Clark.
You know, one of the things that, before we jump into that, Ben, I said it earlier, but I just want to go back. Like, she has been, I would say, even overly acknowledging of the people that have come before her. And she genuinely, it's clear to me, she tries hard to be a great person, just as hard as she tries to be a great basketball player. And it's just something I think that just shouldn't go unnoticed, because she's always maybe too careful with her words. And she's just so respectful and honoring of other people. Reading up about her has reminded me a lot of the research that we did for the Wayne Gretzky episode, where he was just kind of like, I just want to be known for respecting the game. Like, he didn't want to be called the great one. He wanted to be known for respecting the game. And Caitlin kind of gives me that same exact vibe.
Yeah. She said once, Kevin, I just want every little girl to know that she can dream just as big as any boy.
That's amazing. I think that one of my favorite ones is she said a little bit longer, I'm all about growing the women's game, and I'm glad I've given something to little girls that can scream, give them something to scream about at the top of their lungs. Because I can imagine when I was younger, I was doing the exact same thing watching TV.
She said, I hope my legacy isn't just the points I scored or the games I won. I hope it's what I did for women's basketball and how many kids I inspired to play the game. She also said, when I step on a court, I want to win. I don't care who's across from me. She was quoted saying, people mistake confidence for cockiness. I've always believed in myself, and I think that's what make great players great. She is one of those people, Kevin, that I love watching shoot. I would love to see her and Steph Curry go up for a 3-point contest and see who does it. She's just one of those people that can chuck a ball from the logo with confidence and get it in. Just phenomenal. For all the women starting over 100 years ago that led to the sport that we have today and the players that we have today, thank you. And to the women that are out there participating in the hobby and recruiting other girls and women into the hobby and owning card shops and creating podcasts and breaking online, thank you. And to all the guys who take the time to watch WNBA and give it the respect that it deserves, thank you. It's pretty awesome what's happening, and I'm excited, Kevin, to see what happens going forward with the future Caitlins and Jujus and Paiges and Sue Birds and Diana Taurasi. And I'm a big fan of the Fever, but my home team is the Seattle Storm. That's who I represent most days.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think this hobby's got such a long way to go, and because of the impact of the WNBA and the way these cards have grown so much recently, like it's going to continue to be such a major part of it. And if you're in the hobby, it's not a segment that can be ignored by any means. It's going to continue to be a bigger piece of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the history of women's basketball, how it evolved in the WNBA, the companies that took a chance on manufacturing sports cards, and the players that are turning this hobby into something for both boys and girls. As a longtime WNBA collector and a self-proclaimed biggest Caitlin Clark collector, thanks for listening to Cardboard Wars. It's our honor. Do us a favor, give us a review, share this with friends, make a social post. If you heard us mention any of your friends, send this podcast to them and let them know we're thinking about them and all they do for the hobby. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to Cardboard Wars on the Rippin Podcast Network. Don't forget to leave a rating and review and check out rippin.com to get connected to what we have coming up. Find us on Instagram and let us know what you would like to hear about on a future episode of Cardboard Wars. Until next time, keep rippin'.